very, very extraordinary. He is even more than anyone that you adore and love. Is all that I can give to you. And love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. For the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. B is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore and love. Is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Was made for me and you. It's called a fade out. They do that in Hollywood. Yes, indeed, and I'm talking about you and me, and I'm hoping you'll come back to me. And I'm complete as I can be, and I'm waiting for your company, and I'm hoping you'll come back to me. But what you gonna do when the well runs dry? You're gonna run away and hide. I'm gonna be right by your side for you, pretty baby, I die. And I'm walking, yes, indeed, and I'm talking about you and me, and I'm hoping you'll come back to me. Songs dedicated to the current gas prices.
Current gas prices.
It has been a lot of fun preluding for you. Preluding means this is the music that you didn't pay for. You also didn't pay for the other music, but you really didn't pay for this music. And so we're going to play one more song for you guys. I think we get to play something during the intermission, yeah? Oh, that'll be great. I can't wait to find out what that is. Over here is Mr. Gannon Phillips on the upright bass, the overgrown violin, the thing you can barely fit in any reasonable vehicle. Cody Hutchison over here on the piano. It's actually an electronic piano because it's 2022 out here. And my name is Stephen Cox. I'm playing some clarinet and a tenor ukulele, not to be confused with other smaller, inferior ukuleles. Bare necessity. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean those bare necessities of Mother Nature's recipes to bring the bare necessities to life. Wherever I roam, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my own home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. And you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants. Maybe try a few. The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. The simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I need those bare necessities, old Mother Nature's recipes, to bring the bare necessities to life. Sit back, relax, man, in my backyard. If you act like these act, well, you're working too hard. Don't spend your life looking around for something you want that can't be found. When you find you can't live without it, just go along not thinking about it. Giving you a clue, the bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. They'll come to you.
For me. Are we live? There we go. I think you'd agree with me, would you not, that Eastland County is blessed in many, many ways, not the least of which we have so many wonderful people with wonderful musical talent. And tonight that's coming together with the inaugural presentation by the Eastland County Community Band and Choir Concert. So you are in for a treat, to say the least. And by the way, be sure and carry your programs home with you, because Monday, if you have anybody that you think shouldn't be driving, just get them to say Eastland County Community Band and Choir Concert 3 times without sputtering. That should be a pretty good test. Under the direction of Larry Wesson, the community choir is going to sing presentations tonight or sections from a work entitled Homeland by Randy Vader. Despite seemingly to be under assault from so many sources today, America is still a land uniquely blessed by God, a staggering mosaic of natural beauty and resources. America, sweet land of liberty. America, residence for those who dared to dream the dream, pay the price, and share the costs of living in our homeland. I give you the Eastland County Community Choir.
The Star-Spangled Banner does wave over this land of the free and the home of the brave. America, the beautiful, from sea to shining sea, from vast plains to mountain vistas, from great lakes to mighty rivers, from barren deserts to primeval forest. We share this incredible mosaic of creation. We also share the beauty of freedom, freedom to enjoy our great country. As Americans, more often than not, we have the right, the privilege, the joy to travel throughout our nation without having to obtain permission. We are able to cross state borders and travel freely wherever our dreams and desires take us. This is our America, the beautiful. That's right. This land is your land, and this land is my land, our homeland.
Ribbon of highway, was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. My broken rainbow, and I follow my footsteps, with sparkling sands on the island desert, and all around me, a voiceless sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining and I was strolling with the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, and the thought was lifting, those boys came chanting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Several centuries ago, a nation dedicated to the principles that guided our founders was merely a dream. However, it was a dream whose time had come. It was the destiny of the human spirit to one day arrive at the conclusion that all of us are created equal and that certain truths are indeed self-evident. That all mankind is endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Once that truth took root in the hearts and minds of freedom's pioneers, the world was on the threshold of a mighty wind of change. Once the bell of liberty sounded, it could never be silenced. For those who were willing to make the journey, to leave behind friends and family and all that was familiar, to give whatever was required, a new beginning and a new world awaited them. For those who were brave enough to be free, a new life had begun. They had found a place where liberty and justice for all was not a cliche, it was a creed. They came and staked their claim. They came knowing that freedom does not come without great cost. They came making this nation their own, living with the brave and the free, living in the homeland.
Take a back a high cost. Many lives slain for so many lives lost. The brave and the free know it just a good man. Dare to dream, dare to dream, dare to dream of living in the home.
Our homeland, so beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. Staying united as a nation does not come without triumph and does not come without tragedy. America has endured wars both foreign and domestic. This land remains the home of the free because it remains the home of the brave. Throughout our history, men and women have answered the nation's call to protect and defend those rights and freedoms we hold sacred. Some walk among us in battlefield dress, ready to board the next flight to stand in our stead in harm's way. Some walk among us unnoticed, but they carry the satisfaction of memories of victories won and the scars of friends lost. Some are not able to walk among us, for they bear the horrendous wounds of battle. And some are not able to walk among us, for they are the fallen patriots who live on in the heart of our grateful nation. Our debt cannot be adequately paid, but our chance to honor our heroes cannot happen often enough. As the song from your branch of service is sung, would all our active military and veterans please rise up? May we thank you for protecting our homeland. The veterans in the choir will briefly raise their hand. History has taught us that though freedom and liberty may be the path most sought, it is seldom the road most traveled. It is also important to note that the pursuit of true justice, more often than not, requires the greatest sacrifice from the just. We use these words so easily, and for so many of us, the rights offered came so easily. However, we must never forget the sacrifices made, the promises kept, the cost incurred. We must never lose the beauty and the harmony of the sacred song of freedom. Freedom, liberty, justice. sacred words in the lexicon of a free republic. There's another word we must remember. Inscribe it on our hearts, teach it to our children and our children's children. The word is trust. Where do we place our trust? It has been the heritage of America to seek the guidance of the Almighty, to seek His justice, His righteousness. In God we trust. So let His justice roll like a mighty river and righteousness like a never-ending stream.
Justice roll on like a mighty river, and righteousness like a never-ending stream. May the free and the brave never stumble or falter, and the dreamers never cease to follow their dream. Let justice roll on like a mighty river, righteousness like a never-ending stream. May the free and the brave never stumble or falter, and the dreamers never cease to follow their dream. If one is enslaved, then all are not free. Justice to you is injustice to me. We all bear His image, His goodness we share. Join and sing that freedom ring as we all declare. Righteousness like a never-ending stream. May the free and the brave never stumble or falter, and the dreamers never cease to follow their dreams. United in purpose, we sing with one voice. And sisters, my birth or my choice, we seek heaven's guidance for their freedom lies, and honor those whose duty chose, whose dream will never die. Justice righteousness like a never-ending stream. May the free and the brave never stumble or falter, and the dreamers never cease to follow their dream. Let justice roll on like a mighty river, and righteousness like a never-ending stream. May the free and the brave never stumble or falter, and the dreamers never cease to follow. No, the dreamers never cease to follow. No, the dreamers never cease to follow their dream. Let justice roll on.
Through the most difficult of times, acts of war, natural disasters, unspeakable tragedies, Americans have always risen to the occasion of caring for each other. We have learned that the closest bonds are not drawn by mutual strength, but by mutual need. It is through the teachings of Jesus that we have witnessed the blessings of learning to lean on each other, to give with joy and to receive with grace. We have seen what can be, what should be, and with God's help, what will be. The dream lives on, the journey continues, the destination draws closer, and the sun will surely rise on a day that we shall overcome. All of this inexplicably woven together by the inextinguishable source of hope, the giver of every good and perfect gift, the eternal Lord of heaven and earth.
Praise Him, all creatures. we are wise. We know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have faith that you need to borrow. For no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. It's no one, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just like to have a problem that could understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Call me, come on and call me, call me. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you could understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody to lean on.
Wasn't that fantastic? my goodness, in just a minute, the community band portion of the concert is supposed to happen, but they've asked us to play an interlude, like intermission. So this is the ideal time to go to the bathroom, which is weird. Where is the bathroom? There's a bathroom, right? It's over there, they're pointing. Yeah, and so we're going to play a song for you. This is a Cowboy song, since we're in the Cowboy church. It was written by Cole Porter, who was very much not a cowboy. So yeah, this is Don't Miss Me. As soon as Gannon plugs back in over there. Oh, give me land, lots of land, under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze and listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences and gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Take it, Cody. How about that, Cody? Just turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences and gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in.
something? Wow. One of the darkest days in American history was December 7, 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor. To say that left this nation reeling and confused and afraid is quite an understatement. But it also left this nation with a great deal of anger and resolve. And only 6 months later, in June of 1942, the most decisive naval battle in the history of man took place in near a little island called Midway. It was truly an incredible battle. The Japanese thought they were luring the U.S. into a trap, and it was the greatest display of karma ever, because it was exactly the opposite. Through the genius of a Texan, Chester Nimitz, who was the supreme commander in the Pacific, we lured them into a trap wherein they lost 4 aircraft carriers, all of whom had participated in the attack on Pearl Harbor. That was the decisive battle in World War II, and again, historians consider it one of the most decisive battles in the history of mankind. In 1976, there was a very realistic movie made of the Battle of Midway, and several of the scenes in the movie were shot on the aircraft carrier, the Lexington, which you can visit today down in Corpus Christi. John Williams provided the dramatic musical score for that movie, and if you are attuned to these sorts of things, he had won an Academy Award for his score in Jaws, and he was the one who did the magnificent music in Star Wars. But for tonight, you're going to hear our Eastland County Community Band play the Midway March. big majority of the band are Eastland County residents, but we want to give a big shout out and a thank you to the members of the band who are visiting us from out of town, and most of those are Cisco College students or graduates, and some are folks who have Eastland ties but have come back to be a member of the band. If we have any true Irishmen in the crowd, you might want to find some Kleenex because you're about to hear Danny Boy, and you know what happens to Irishmen when they hear Danny Boy. So, but actually, the song you're going to hear is an Irish tune from County Derry. And it's an authentic folk song from an 1855 songbook entitled Petrie Collection of the Ancient Music of Ireland. You might use that Monday as your test too. The work begins with a simple statement of the tune Danny Boy, as I mentioned, but it undergoes a transformation and becomes increasingly intense. And now the Eastland County Community Band performing the Irish tune from County Derry. I am very easily entertained by anyone who knows or sees my Facebook post can attest. So anytime I see anything attached to the greatest pie fight ever, it gets my attention. And sure enough, in the 1965 classic movie, The Great Race, starring Tony Curtis, Natalie Wood, and Jack Lemmon, Henry Mancini composed a song that goes along with what was billed as the greatest pie fight ever. So that was the climax of the movie. So if I could digress just for a second, I want to talk about this coming Tuesday, which is going to be a sad day for Eastland and Eastland County, because that's the day that Stephen Cox, the Eastland band director, who has made such a tremendous mark on this community, is leaving for his new home and his new job. Stephen, would you stand and take a bow? So featuring the Grammy award-winning director, Stephen Cox on clarinet, here is Henry Mancini's Pie in the Face Polka. Well, you just can't have a July 4 concert and not have a John Philip Sousa march. And so thank goodness we've got one on the way. In his 1928 autobiography, Marching Along, John Philip Sousa said that he composed the Stars and Stripes Forever in his head on Christmas Day, 1896. He was on board an ocean liner on his way home from a vacation in Europe with his wife. He just remembered it, and when he got home, he got it down on paper. It was first performed in May of 1897 and was immediately greeted with huge enthusiasm throughout the country. And exactly 100 years later, an act of Congress in 1987 officially adopted it as the official national march of the United States of America. I didn't know we had an official national march of the United States of America, but if I had my vote, I'd vote for this one. Featuring Robert Miller on soprano, Julia McClellan on alto, Scooter Miller on tenor, and James Miller on Barry, here is our sax quartet and the Stars and Stripes Forever. Very good, very good. American Barn Dance was commissioned and premiered for the 20th Annual Festival of Bands in Luguti, Indiana in November of 2008 with the composer Richard Saucedo conducting. This festival was created for several small-town high school bands, and this composition was composed in celebration of the festival's 20th anniversary. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Saucedo's American Barn Dance. agree that America the Beautiful is one of the most beloved of American patriotic songs. Its lyrics were originally published as a poem in 1875 by English professor Catherine Lee Bates, who was inspired by the sights of her country during a summer trip to Pikes Peak, Colorado. The melody was composed in 1882 by organist Samuel Ward as a tune for a hymn that we often sing out at Lake Leon Baptist Church, "O Mother Dear Jerusalem." Right? Yeah. It was for the tune of an old hymn, "O Mother Dear Jerusalem." Now, he received his inspiration during a summertime ferry ride from Coney Island. So Coney Island, Pikes Peak, they came together to form a wonderful, wonderful song. This arrangement for the concert band was composed by Hollywood Bowl Symphony Orchestra conductor Carmen Dragon.
What a great night in Eastland County. When you say that, this is amazing. Just want to get some thanks out to some people. Sponsored by Cisco College. They seem to foot the bill on a lot of this. The fact that me and Cody worked there, that helps. And I want to thank them for being a part of this. There was a lot that went into it. Eastland High School for use of some of their equipment and the rehearsal facility. First Baptist Church here in Eastland also using their facility and some of their microphones to kind of bounce up here. Bandwagon Music Shop, who furnished our folders that we have here. Mr. Holliday for coming up here and having a few words for us. My wife, Donna Martinez. She wasn't on the list until today. So me and Cody are pretty good when it comes to music notes and stuff, but when it comes to Microsoft Word, we had all kinds of problems with our program. So that program was created in about an hour. It got fixed, and Donna did that, so we appreciate her. Larry Wesson for taking on the choir and doing this. It's been an awesome experience. All the performers that we have, both in the choir and in the band, thank you all so much for your time and effort to be a part of this. And Mr. Stephen Cox, before he was Grammy Award winner, we sat down and in his band hall at the beginning of the year and drummed up the idea whether this would work in this county. Was it possible to be able to create this? And here it is, better than we ever would have imagined. So thank you. He thought of it, we did the work. And now also somebody really, Cody Hutchison, go ahead and come on up here because you're going to say some things, but he's been the organizer for the band. There is a lot of stuff, a lot of phone calls, a lot of texting. Younger guys are good at that. They can do that. For me, it's real hard. But he helped put all of the crew together, got this group going, and has been working tirelessly. I mean, he's leaving for Bulgaria on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, and here we are trying to get this done. So really awesome. I want to thank you for all the work you've done during a busy time. I'm gonna let him speak a little bit. He wants to talk a little bit about Stephen, so we'll go ahead and move it over to you.
Well, thank you all again for being out here tonight. It's been a wonderful night. I know you've already been here for a while, so I don't want to keep you too much longer. But I wanted to introduce Stephen Cox. He has been an amazing person in my life and such a special person to me. When I went to high school here, graduated in 2014, we had a really successful band program. The band director there at the time, Terry Everts, who is here with us in the trombone section. There's Terry. You can stand if you want. He created an amazing band program there. Under Terry Everts, we made state marching contests for the first time. We had students in all state bands, state salon ensemble. Just our band was really successful. Well, Stephen came in as the assistant band director then. I think it was my junior year, 2012, 2013, something like that. Well, he came in and he ended up taking over the program. And I owe so much to him because he got me into jazz and other things and really encouraged me to be more creative with my music, so I owe a lot to him. But of course, we all know how much he's invested in this community. He created the Eastland Jazz Festival. He brought up some of the Eastland's history from our past with Satterwhite and some others, and it's just amazing the things that he's done. So we have asked him to, since he's leaving, to come up and say just a few words for us before he leaves. This community has been dear to him, so without further ado, Stephen Cox.
Hey, I want to thank the opportunity to do this, and I promise I'll keep it really quick. This is the longest concert you've ever sat through, right? Yeah, and it's so good. You're going to need your program for this discussion because there's a few things we have to talk about. First of all, it says first inaugural at the top. This is actually inaccurate. If you go to the Eastland Library, the Eastland Centennial Library, which is a wonderful resource for like knowledge and things. I'm a millennial. I had no idea that you could learn things at libraries. No, but you can find a picture in this binder marked music from the late 1800s of the actual first Eastland County Community Band. Can you believe that? Yeah, that's pre-oil boom. We don't talk about anything that happened before the oil boom. You can find it. It's a wonderful picture. There's a kid and a dog down at the front, and one or both of them is labeled mascot. I'm not really sure. But, and what's wonderful is the band is standing there, and behind them, it's just wilderness. Right? They weren't even in a building. That was amazing. Okay, so a lot of things have happened in fine arts in Eastland for a long time. Okay, we talk a lot about the oil boom. We talk about C.U. Conley. Man, when the Majestic Theater was built in 1920, it was actually the Conley Theater at the time. We had first-run Broadway shows in Eastland, Texas. Like they would play in New York and stuff, and then they'd come to Eastland. John Philip Sousa and his band performed in 1921 in the Conley Theater. They played 3 events in Texas. You ready for this lineup? Fort Worth, Eastland, El Paso. One of these things is not like the other, right? Okay, there were these wonderful music clubs that were put together, all of this culture in Eastland that was cultivated throughout the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. There were people like Wilda Dragoo, who had an amazing violin studio here, and her students like Nancy Seabury Frost and the likes, they did a lot of things in music for a long time. There's still members of that music club around. If any of you know Joyce Hewitt or you know Nettie Wilson, they did amazing things here, string groups, all sorts of things for years and years, brought orchestras into play. There was an amazing history of band directors and music teachers at this school, right? A lot of people know Phil Hewitt. He brought the Woody Herman Band to perform in the Majestic Theater in the 80s, right? The Woody Herman Band. If you don't know who that is, pretend like that was really impressive. And if you do, then you don't have to pretend, right? There were all these things that have happened for so long. He mentioned Satterwhite. We've had people from Eastland that have gained national recognition, written songs for celebrities and superstars. We had Stacey Blair, who became the first winner of the Maurice Andre Trumpet Award. Oh my gosh! And he was blind, and he didn't care, right? Like, that's what the Eastland community is like. There are amazing music educators up here right now. Mr. Martinez, he says you've been at Cisco College for 20 years? Yeah. A lot of you guys know Bob Johnson back over here. These guys have been amazing. Mr. Everett, Terry Everett taught me in middle school in Brownwood, Texas. And that's why I came to Eastland, was because I heard he was here and I wanted to get good at band directing. When I came here, I was 24 years old. I barely had adult teeth, okay? And I came here and got to work with that guy, and that was Delore. Listen, no offense, I did not come here for Eastland. I said we were coming, and my wife said, at least they have a Starbucks. I did not break the news to her until I signed the contract. But, we came here, and I between Mr. Martinez and Mr. Johnson and Mr. Everett, they have done more in their careers than I could do in 10 lifetimes, and they're not 10 times my age, actually, despite what it might appear. These guys are amazing. Listen, I look up here on this stage, and I look here, and these are all friends and family, right? Like, that's what this is. When I came here, I was the middle school director. Some of the students from those first 2 years when Mr. Everett and I were working together are in here right now, like are over here inside of this band. In fact, students from the whole last decade are here. If you were ever one of my students, could you raise your hand real quick if you were ever one of my students? Look at those guys. All right, I promise I'm wrapping this up. And the restrooms are over there if there's any emergencies. This says Eastland County Community Band and Choir Concert. And I want to draw your attention to the most important word there. Now, I'm a band director, so my initial impression is to say the most important word is band, right? but I think that Mr. Wesson would disagree with me. And also, I really like the choir, and they did amazing. So it can't be band or choir, can't be the most important words. It can't be concert, because if we're going to be honest, this was not a concert. This was an extravaganza, right? That is more than a concert. So that's inaccurate, just like First Inaugural. It can't be Eastland County because, well, first of all, I grew up in Brown County, and you guys consider that to be a million miles away from here. But also, there's people from all over the place. The Millers over here, Seymour, I don't know what county that's in. What county is that in? I'm sorry. No, that's great. That's great. You know, my friend Gannon over here, you came from Weatherford. Is that Weatherford County? See, I don't know how counties work. Been in Eastland County too long. Now, you know, it can't be Eastland County. So it's got to be the one remaining word, and that's community, right? And that's what this is. And this is community. Community is people, right? That's all that community is. Community is people. It's people that come together. And it can't be Eastland County because this community extends so far beyond there. I am leaving, and I'm sad about that. It's very bittersweet to be moving to a different place. But while I'm going to be leaving the town of Eastland, I'm not going to be leaving the community of Eastland, because you don't leave a community. You're always a part of it. So thank you very much, and thank you, Eastland Community Band and Choir.
Well, you're certainly going to be missed. The Battle Hymn of the Republic has become a revered American anthem. The source tune originates from an old camp song transcribed by a man named William Steffi in the early 1800s as the hymn. This rivals "O Mother Dear Jerusalem." O brothers, will you meet me on Canaan's happy shore? But in 1862, Julia Ward Howe, a poet and abolitionist, penned the lyrics for the battle hymn, pairing them with Steffi's music. The song was published in 1862. Although it was considered the song of the Union during the Civil War, it gained fresh popularity in the 20th century as an American patriotic song for the entire nation. And this arrangement has seen many high-profile performances, including the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and the inauguration and later the state funeral of President Ronald Reagan. And now, the Eastland County Community Choir and Band in their concert finale, the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory,
So much.
Where would you?